Hi everyone, very good morning. Welcome back to ITOM batch 3, day 48. How are you doing guys today?
Thank you, Jay. Good. How are you doing?
I'm also doing good. Thank you. Are you guys excited for that, second last session for this ITOM batch? So today we are going to be discuss about the tag-based service mapping, how tag-based service mapping configurations will work and how we are going to be configure that and that particular use cases. Okay, but before moving to the tag-based service mappings, any questions from that last or earlier covered sessions related to the service maps? Okay, if no, let's proceed. Let me share my screen, you guys. Let me know once my screen is visible to you.
Yes, Ajay.
So basically, if I give you a little background about tag-based service mapping, that's nothing, but that mapping specifically works on the cloud supporting critical applications, and we are going to use the tags, or in simple words, if I say, that mapping of that attribute related to the cloud attributes, right? So when I'm saying mapping of the attribute of the cloud attributes, like, we sometimes we cloud attributes, like, every time we are able to see the virtual components, right? And that particular virtual component, whatever its network or its storage or whatever it is, we are not sure how that is connecting to each other, right? That is, we know that's connected to the service accounts or account ID, right? But or the subscription ID. But here, when we are doing service mapping, the service account or the account ID or the subscription ID, it's not for one application service, right? So what we do, we are assigning some tags based on the naming conventions. So we can identify later if I put tag application example ABC. So ABC application tag which is provide added to in whatever whatever virtual machines or devices, that we can find out that belongs to that. And the same way we are going to add that, environments or some other things as well, right? So tags is just nothing but it's just a, information attribute which we are adding on the tag, CIS specifically, to identify from which applications or from which environments that are belongs to. Right, so in today's lab, we are going to be review the tag uses within Cloud Dimension CMDB, creating a tag categories, then tag families, tag service families, and generating a view service candidate and map selected service candidates basically, right? So the first thing, what will happen here, the tags, where the tags will be available, that will be available in the CMDB queue value list, right? So what they are doing, just go and delete that one. I don't want to delete it. And then, they are saying they have shared couple of tags to us, which I have to be upload. So which I already uploaded here. If I go to the next things, that is the text which is available. So let me go to my instance. Yeah.
Um, Jay, can you show the tags which you have uploaded?
Yeah, I'm coming to that point only. Just wait for one moment. Right. So these are the key value table which I have uploaded the tags. So tags will always working in the combination of the key and the value, right? So key here is environment, is production, the same is application, is finance. Environment is different production, and then application is HR. Then same environment is staging, application is HR, app name is also HR, and environment is production, right? So if you see, the keys can be different, like environments or env or environments, the same way app name, app or application is different keys, right? But end of the day value we are available here. So what we have to do, we have to standardize that particular keys or particular values in one of the I can say tag based service families that which we have to be create first. And if you see here, the servers is also mentioned, right? So if I just little group by servers, if you see, we have one configuration item, which is application servers, but environment here is application is HR, product environment is production, right? The same way we have database here, application is HR, environment is production. Now, so what do we understand from this key or key values? Key that application and the database belongs to the same, right? Then we have file server floor, app name is HR, environment is production. But if you say this one, this is completely different, which is application is finance and environment is staging. Means this particular server SAP app SRV01 is not belongs to that HR application and environment production, right? So if you see, the values for key is little different, means not values, but the naming convention of the keys are little different. Somewhere it's use env, somewhere it's use environment, then same way somewhere it's choose app or application. So we have to be standardize those particular things so we can map out in the with particular values or the particular configuration items that we are going to do in the first things. What we do, we call that particular thing is tag categories, right? So if I go to the tag categories here, right? So if you see that it's empty, now what we have to do, we have to be create new tag category for application, the same way for environment, right? So what we are doing, we are standardizing the values here, right? So first tag category, I'm creating application, and what CI tag I'm going to use here, that is depend on this particular values keys basically, right? So we have application, app or app name, all three different keys are there, which I'm going to be standardized. So I'm going to use this one to map the keys. One is application, one is app name, I think so, app or app name, yeah. And make sure these are, I can say, case sensitives. So whatever you are using, that should be taken care or taken by this particular table, right? So make sure that will be taken care properly, right? So once we have standardized that name, sorry, applications category, then the same way we have to be standardize the environment as well. So let's save this. So the one tag category we have created, now I have to be create for environment. So let me take the environment from here, and then we have environment is 2. One tag category is environment and second is env, right? So again, these two values coming from here only, where env and environment is two different unique values. Here is environment is the same. So these are the same, but this difference basically, right? So I have just created for that as well, and let's submit this as well, right? So first of all, we have to standardize the keys using the CI tag categories. Then we have to go and create the service families. So for that, we have to move go to tag-based service families. If I go here and then configuring the tag-based, where it is, yeah, tag-based service families.
Jay, can I ask you one quick thing?
Yeah, of course, of course.
The very first thing is like, what is the significance of using the tag base, and why it is required to have a tag based discovery?
So tag-based service mapping is required for cloud components, right? So cloud component, you are not discovering in the host tables, okay? And that you don't have any identifiers. You can identify that particular virtual machine or the particular database is running or using for that particular application service.
But Jay,
Right?
over here, we are manually assigning all these tags and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, then what exactly, like, it is by default discovering? I mean,
Right. So
uh,
wait, come again. I'm coming here. So don't be confused this particular table, key values, right? That will come from the discovery automatically. Point number one. Point number two, that will be taken care by the cloud team who are responsible to update the text correctly on the cloud resources.
no, no. I mean, what my perspective of asking this particular query is, say,
Hmm.
example, I have a staircase and I have a lift in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
I have an advantage getting into the lift because it will take me faster and it will take me, like, to the higher floors and everything without any efforts and all.
Okay.
Uh, I'm trying to understand. Very first thing is, I mean, first of all, why we need tag big in the service mapping.
Hmm.
Cannot this be, like, removed? Why on the first place it has been introduced? What is the significance? I mean, we should be understanding on why it is required.
Okay. So now let me ask you in a different way. You have CIs available, okay, and I want to create a application service map for cloud resources. How you are
Mhm.
able to do that?
Definitely, first of all, I mean, I need to discover whether, like, in my cloud, in my whatever, like, whether it is AWS, Azure, whatever the private cloud, whether I have those components uh, sitting over there, and how I'm discovering them. And by default, there would be some naming convention already been given to those servers when we are building those servers, when we are, like, getting those servers. There would be some, like, the naming convention is there. So the moment we will be having the discovery, we will be knowing the names and everything.
Right, but how you will build the service map? The question is this. You have discovered the cloud resources, but how you will build the application services? How will build you automated service map for cloud resources specifically? Where you have not discovered the host, where you have not discovered the application which is running on the host. End of the day,
Hmm.
your application service is due. You should discover the host, and on top of it, what application is running, based on that, its connection will be happening, right? Yesterday, I showcased you where Apache is connecting with the Tomcat, right? So
Yes,
that
yes.
application, but in the cloud resource side or cloud discovery side, you have not done anything. You have not discovered the host. You have only discovered the cloud resources, whatever virtual machines, whatever this cloud database, whatever is storage, whatever it is. How you are going to be mapped into a single service? How you are going to be identify that one?
Okay. Let me take a one step back.
Mm-hmm.
So if I try to understand little more deeper, thinner,
Sure. Mm-hmm.
you're saying that whenever we have anything related to the clouds,
Mm-hmm.
wherein the service maps or defining an application in the clouds, at
Mm-hmm.
that time, the tag-based service mapping is the a key which will help in order to identify and in order to just, put the things on the map.
Yes, that's I'm trying to say, right?
Okay. So you are saying, like, for the cloud, tag base is the best foot forward approach when we
Right.
are doing.
Now let me tell you one moment, right? So if I go to application services once again, okay, I'm just opening this map again. See, and if I go to view map, Let me load it. Yeah, see, so what's happening up, Club here, for, our on-prem applications,
Mhm.
okay, that we have an entry point, right? So that, let's take an example. This is the entry point. Try to understand me and correlate that particular things here. You have an entry point. Its entry point can be for anything, like whatever application you're using in your mobile, right? If we are using, like, example, WhatsApp or Facebook or Telegram or any other, right? So that's an app based applications, right? The same way, if you're using on the browser level the same applications, you will get an URL, right? Like, the URL is https www.whatsapp.whatsapp.com, or the same way www.facebook.com, right? So if I specifically talk about the web applications that is running through a URL, right? So you put
Yeah.
it an entry point there. Now, what ServiceNow do, based on that entry point you have put it, it's try to analyze that entry point is connecting to which server or which network device or which load balancer, right? Because when you are discovering a device or CIS using the horizontal discovery, it also discover the dependencies or dependency map, right, for all devices and placing that relationships in the CMDB rel table. Okay, so
Yes.
based on top of that, and second thing, it's also discovering the processes, as well as there is one thing I'm just forgetting the name. Is the connection between or listening connection between the one server to the another server using that ports or IPs, right? I'm just forgetting the name right away, but yeah, that's also discovering that particular thing. Based on that, when you're putting the entry point, it will grab the informations from the relationships and it will create the first CI. So here
Mhm.
what we put it, we on this particular 192.168.0.5 on the port 80, HTTPS means the port 80 that
Yeah.
Apache server is running. But as I mentioned, here in the on-prem side, we have a capability to discover the applications which is running on the servers. That's why I'm able to see Apache. Otherwise, in the cloud side, we are discovering only virtual machines or virtual components. We are not discovering the host and we are not discovering the applications on top of it it is running, right? So
Right.
it's little tricky to find out on which virtual machine which application running, because we have not discovered completely. We have only discovered the resources, right? We are not
Mm.
doing post discovery on the cloud side. So that's why the key values comes in the picture, which we can align with respective database, respective virtual machines, or respective storage or network, whatever component we want to use it to identify that particular server is belongs to that particular application. Getting my point?
Got
And
it.
based on that, we are trying to create the categories first. So categories is just a standardization of those particular things, right? If we are not standardizing things, if we are not creating these categories which I created for application environments, so you cannot add again, because who are that resource which is working on the cloud component side, or that particular person, he because that's a open field, right? It's a text field, whatever he wants to write he can write, right? But end of the day, we have to be merged the all informations in a single component, and that's why these particular key values is discovered by ServiceNow. And then if we want to create a service mapping, we should understand or sit with the customer. Is sir, what are the keys or what are that values you want to use for particular services, right? So
Okay.
that's why I'm specifically, group by the CIs and I showcase you the values. So if I go for HR, you can see that is my application for HR. That is my database for HR. That is my file server port one for HR, right? And then these the same value available with production means that is for production environment. If the same value also available but application should be HR, but environment can be dev. So we can identify it automatically. Those particular components or the CI belongs to the production, but those component and CI belongs to that HR. Oh, sorry, belongs to the dev. Sorry, my bad, dev, right? So you can define that one. That's why specifically for cloud resources where you're not discovering the host or applications, that tag-based service mapping comes in the picture.
Okay.
Okay, and that's we are trying to do here. So let me close this one here. But again, what they are saying, we have to be create the tag based service families. So we can identify now if you see specifically, if I create a tag based service family, services by based on app or environment, right? So we are getting that it's not limited to two attributes, app or environment. Might be there are couple of other key as well or the values as well. We just need to assess that informations, and based on that CI categories will be created, and based on that tag based service families will be created, right? So once you create this one, tag categories you have to add here in the service families. So for now we have two tag categories, which is applications and another is the environment. But whatever the tag categories belongs to this particular service family or particular service family, the same tag categories we can add it here based on the creation of the tag categories, right? Now once done, we have just submit this one, and then we have to be select this particular to run the periodically service map. Now let me submit this, and there is
So
one.
is the statement is correct that
Mhm,
whenever we are using the tag-based service
mhm,
mapping, this
mhm.
is directly proportional to the discovery of the cloud components?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, that's I'm trying to say to you, because if we are not creating the tag base or that relationships, you could I'm not saying you cannot create the service maps a normal for cloud resources. You can do that. You can go to application service table. You can create the manual service maps to adding the CI whatever you want. But again, that's there is no use of it, because that will be not updating the components. If anything, tags you have removed from one server to another server.
Okay.
Getting my point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clear.
So once we have just created this one, we can see, let me go back. Let's open this one. Let me go back. Yeah. So we have this one is open, select manually update candidates. We have just created this one, and then we have to be click on this manually. This is something, different process as compared to the application services. Once we click on the manually update candidates, then we have to click on the view service candidates. Then we are able to see. Now you can see the service name is automatically picked HR production, and there are two is there. Now it's up to us on which we want to create it. So here specifically, if as I mentioned, we are doing for both, and we are selecting the map for both only, right? So let's do that one, then select map selected. It will create the maps for two maps, basically one for HR production and one for another one, right? So once it's done, okay, yeah, it's done. Let's open this one and view. Nothing, if you see, we have not to do anything. It's automatically created one service in CMDB CIS service by tags based on HR or HR production or based on other components, and it's non-operational and all right. So that we can, that particular fields we can do it, but that's automatically created, right? So once I click on the view map, the same thing will be they are doing. Now if you see, we have an entry point, then we have this particular CI which is there. We have not done the recalculations of the CI. If I go back and Let me open it once again. HR production, and they are saying recalculate service, and based on that it will be populating the all components, right? I think that's done. Let's view map now. Yeah, so see what they have created. They have created a entry point automatically HR production. Under that we have this particular things, and HR production is my entry point, or you can the service name, and top in below that we have three things: file servers, application servers, and the database. As I what I just earlier mentioned to you, I can do that whatever I want to be, right? I think it's not in edit mode, right? So I can create, or add a manual CI here. But the only reason to doing in automated way is end of the day, sorry, end of the day we are not able to identify which one is connecting through which one if tags are removed or updated by the cloud persons on the cloud resources, right? So we have to do that in that way. Otherwise we can do this particular things manually as well. Right now if I just go to one more service to showcase you. Oh, let's okay, let's go to the finance staging as well. Recalculate service. So, only thing is the name, finance staging, honor we have to be select automatically the entry point because it's a manually created CI, or tag based mapping, which is CI type is tag based application service, and this is updated automatically. We have not to create a service and not to create the entry point or update it here. Only based on our the CI tag categories or CI service families, tag based service families is automatically created, right? So this is my automated one. Here on top of it, what we can do, we can configure the discovery service mapping discovery schedule based on our requirements, and if any changes happen on the key values, automatically that will be updated on my service map site. Okay, I hope you are getting it. Yeah, someone raise hand.
Yeah, Ajay. So I can understand that key pair values are getting discovered, and the tags are getting set by cloud team only. Like discovery team, or we are not going to do that. So
Right.
tags are set by cloud team. Key pair values we are getting via discovery. So
Mm-hmm.
apart from both of these steps, like this service family and the category which you created, these all
Mm-hmm.
need to be done for each and every tags.
Yes, 100%. Right. So, not for each and every text. Try to understand. I'm coming again once more. So, see, what is the keys here? Based on that, we can define our service maps, right? So, the standard keys here is application on environment. There are two values. Let me group by this particular one. One moment, right? So, if you see, end of the day, if you see their environment is there, again env's environment, and here it's application, right? So we find only the two unique key, right? And of there are five keys, but if I go with the uniqueness, only the two keys, environment and the app name. To standardize that thing, I just created CI categories, application and environment, and where I've just mapped these particular environment and different structures of word. On based on that, I have just created that service mapping families to be add those particular things, and it's done, right? So we need to be create the CI tag categories based on the keys, and based on that, if multiple keys are there, we have to be defined. So that can be possibility here ki one service family is using the two keys. One is application on environment, so you have to create one service family for that, or might be another service family is using application on environment or xyz or abc, right? Or might be it's not using application on environment, it's using the different components, different naming keys, right, which you have created on the tag CI tag categories. So you have to create one or two or three multiple times, right? Based on that, automatically service mapping will be built for respective services, right? So here, if you see, I just created two categories, application and environment, and I have created one tag service family. Here it is. Yeah. I've just created one tag-based service family, services by environment, application and environment. Automatically, my two service has been created, one for HR, one for finance, right? So only based on the keys and based on the CI tag categories and service families, your service maps will be created. Not for everything you have to be created, but it depends again the key values data. I hope it's clear to you, Abhishek. Or still?
Yeah, Ajay. Yeah, Ajay. If you can give one more example, please.
Okay. So now let me do another way, right? So what I'm doing here, let's do one more thing. Okay, one moment. Duplicate tab. I'm just doing duplicate because I just need to take a reference of it. So configuration item, I can select it here, right? So I am just selecting this computer. Okay, key I am putting track with AJ. Okay, and value I am putting, that's for again track with AJ. Okay, let me submit this. Now let's go back, create one more. I'm just selecting another is, okay, let me select this software example. Okay, I'm just putting again the key track with AJ. No, I think one key is track with AJ, and let's put another key is ITOM. Okay, and value, last time what we put it value here, let me see one moment. Value is track with AJ, so that's my name, and then value is, let me put production. Okay, so now see, if I've just created two key values that are completely different as compared to these keys, right? So what key we are getting here? ITOM. In ITOM key, we are getting what type of environment it is. And in key tag track with AJ, I'm getting what the service name of it is, right? So in that case, we have to again go here and create a new CI category for that particular purpose, right? So if I just put here tag track with AJ, and the tag key is tag track with AJ. Okay, that is one done. Let me go back here again. Okay, and then second is we have key is item where the value is production. Key is where it is. Key is item where value is. So here I don't need to standardize anything, right? Because only that two categories and things I have created. Let me go back to tag categories label. Yeah, here I no need to be create or up, I can say I no need to be standardized. Only the two keys are there. But if in item again, if someone is saying item hyphen AJ again is production, but tag track is again tag track with AJ. So we need to be standardized that one. So in that case, we have to be update these particular tag categories, and based on that my service mapping family will work. Right, now let's do another one. It's item now. Let me put configuration item again, one more. I just put it something wrong, I know. Let me correct it later. ITOM hyphen AJ, and the value which I put it production. Let me put production. Okay, let me submit this. Let's go back. Okay, again this. The key is here tag track, and the value is again track with AJ. Okay, now let's go back. Here, if you see, I think I need to be update this one with this one. Yeah, it's not updated. One moment. No, one moment. Let me do one more thing. Yeah. So if you see now, we have different keys. ITOM is a which belongs to production, and different keys for name, right? And which belongs to the same application tag track with AJ, right? So what I will do, I will again come here on my CI categories. I'm going to be update my this CI category here ITOM, and then okay, let me go with okay, then that's one is ITOM here, the key values which I need to be where it is. Yeah, this it's by mistake copied wrong value. Which values we have to be standardized, which we have to be put here. The ITOM, another is ITOM AJ, and that's for production. Let me update this one, production. Earlier it's one only, then I just used this one, and now it's updated here. Okay, and then we have another CI category for tag track with AJ, where the value key is coming this one. Oh, it's not copied again. Okay, now we have two tag categories which we have created. Let's close this, let's open this. Okay, based on that, we have to be create another service family. I think that's updated. Let's me update this one. Let's close this one as well. Okay, so now we have again production and the tag track with AJ, right? I just put it here. Now based on that, we have to be create another tag based service family. If I go here and I've just created service family based on services by tag track with AJ, whatever I just want to be named, I need to be put it, I can put it here. Here tag categories which I just want to utilize for that particular service, I can use it. Simple, right? Then submit. Let me go back. Let me open this. Manually update candidates. View certificates. Now you can see automatically one is there, na? So that is done. Now let's click on the map selected. Done. Let's open this. Okay, now I think it's not open in the correct way. Let me open in the different view. It's not up. Okay, now I think I can do it recalculated here. Recalculated the services, and I can go here and I can see this one is created the same way the two things which are just added here, right? So only it depends, Abhishek, how your keys and values you have configured it. Based on that, you have to be think about it based on the analysis of the key values about the CI category, then the service mapping or service based families, tag based CI service families basically. I
Okay.
hope
Yeah, got it, Ajay. Yeah, thank you.
that you have to do. Okay, any other questions in that one from anyone?
Yeah, that's so we have to create every time the CI tag categories and the service every right after
100%.
creating.
It depends on the key values. And this
And
is, go
yeah,
ahead.
continue. Name continue.
Sorry, come again.
Yeah, continue, Ajay.
Continue. Okay. So based on that, we are, that's basically it's automated way. We can schedule the service mapping of this one, right? So based on, I can say, whenever my cloud discovery is running, and if any key values is updated, based on that, the CI will be removed from here or the CI will be added here. If new CI is added here, like new key pair or something is added here, right, with the same name or the same CI, with the same name with or different CI but the same key and values, right, it's automatically going to be update this particular service map. So we no need to be worry about to do manual things that time. Okay, so that's basically used for cloud resources specifically where we have not discovered the host which applications it's running. And it's not for cloud. You can also utilize if someone is mapping the I can say what I'm trying to say is the tags for your virtual components, like for vCenter. You can also utilize the tag based service mapping for those use cases as well, right, where host discovery or the application discovery is not done. If it is virtual components, if it is a cloud resources, that you can utilize the tag based service mapping. So I think that's all for today's topic. I think, yeah, that's it. Any questions in that one? And with this particular class, we have completed the service mapping as well. But again, as I mentioned, you have to do little practice and you have to do a couple of things to do it and test it and working it on the service mapping side. So any questions on that service mapping topic? We have still, couple of minutes which we can discuss.
So Ajay, we so we cannot discover the cloud resources using the top-down discovery, right?
We are discovered top to down discoveries for specific for service mapping, right? So we have to do tag based service mapping to discover or update my service maps. Top to down is not for for cloud resource discovery.
Okay.
Top
Yeah.
to down specifically designed for service mapping purpose, right? Where it will check the connections from one source to another source, like using the configuration files, using the I can say what I'm just forgetting that particular component name. I'm not remembering that one. Based on the connections from A to B, that will be updating. That's only the top to down or the service mapping do. I think let me open and what I'm missing. I just recall it from here. Windows. Okay. CBCI Windows. Let me search it directly. One moment, guys. I'm just looking for something and updating you the name of that one. Yeah, TCP connections. So based on the TCP connections, we are going to be identify that one. I'm just missing that naming convention based on the TCP connections, because in the TCP connections you have the things available from where to where, on which port it's connecting or it's listening. Okay.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions from anyone else? If no, then we are good for today. Tomorrow I will going to be cover couple of things related to the CSDM, as Michael requested couple of times for that. And let's see if we are able to finish by tomorrow, that good. Otherwise will Monday session will skip. I will connect on the Tuesday and will complete that, complete ITOM batch 3 on the Tuesday. Okay. Any questions?
Okay.
Anyone else? If no, I think we are good for today. Then thank you guys. Thank you so much. We'll connect tomorrow again and we'll discuss about the little bit six about CSDM.
Yeah, thanks,
Yeah,
Ajay.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah. Yes, you
yeah.
can.
So like one last request, like can we have a Q&A session from 2 weeks now, so we can
Did
just the
you
last.
did you join the last Q&A session for event management?
Yes, yes, I done.
Okay, I can do one more Q&A sessions, but it's only will be possible if everyone is joining. I'm not going to do Q&A for you only or Dabi only, right? Because I feel on the Q&A session itself, less people are joining.
I joined, and from 2 weeks now, so we can cover all the things
Sure.
and
Not
recap.
2 weeks.
Recap.
Last week itself we did for Q&A for event management. I can do one more Q&A as well. I don't have an issue on this, right? Next week, I think end of the sessions, we can do that one Q&A again.
Yeah, that last Q&A will be like for cover the whole things we have covered today till today, so on that, on
Sure,
the
sure.
same.
I'm more than happy for that, right? I don't have any issue. Okay,
So
then
like,
no issue. I will take care on that side.
yeah, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you guys. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thanks, Ajay.